Thank you, Seth. We're going to hear from Seth tonight throughout the evening. We're going to integrate music and song, and Stephanie will be accompanying Seth as well, and maybe Yehuda will give a couple harmonies. Seth is our musical director for the evening.
And it's
Anyway, we're here tonight to celebrate the new season. It must be the coldest day of the year.
No, it's Buffalonian.
They're trying to change us up. It's cold.
New York.
So it's like when you say something about the weather, everybody thinks it's a conversation. Somebody talks about the weather. Let's talk about the weather. You know, Jackie Mason says the weather, that's for the Gentiles. Jews don't talk about the weather. That's small talk. We talk about food. That's why even on the coldest day of the year, we're not talking about the weather. We're talking about the food. We're talking about fruits. And when Jews eat fruits, they don't eat a few fruits. They eat every fruit there is. Tonight, we're celebrating the fruits of the tree. And after all, it would be a sin to leave out a fruit. The fruit would feel bad. The Jews are the only people that think that food has feelings. Have you ever heard of any other religion where they cover the bread because it's going to be embarrassed?
Right.
Because you're not making kiddush on it. Whoever heard of anything like that? It's unheard of. We should treat our neighbor the way we treat the challah.
What is this, comedy night tonight? That was last month.
But seriously, food is really, it's really good. And if we can make it a religious experience, listen, there's enough things that we can't have, so what we can have, we might as well make a big deal out of it. Imagine if we said you couldn't have
Chocolate.
You couldn't have fruits. Fruits are forbidden. The forbidden fruit. That was the first thing God told Adam. What happened? A few hours later, they had to have it. You know, if only God would have kept that to be the mitzvah. There's this fruit that you can't have. Everything else, man, woman, all these stuff, don't worry about it. But the fruit you can't have. Could you imagine how crazy it would be about this fruit? Could you imagine we'd be thinking about that fruit nonstop? I want that fruit. I mean, could you just imagine the price you could pay if you could get a little bit of that fruit? You could make all the money in the world. If you think matzah is expensive, you think getting married or divorced is expensive, this fruit, this would be the ultimate experience of life. And it actually was. So it's kind of sad that other things took over that fruit. Because if you could think that everything, the tree of knowledge, now we have other things. We have philosophy, we have science. It used to be all in the tree. It was so simple. And that's what we're here tonight. We're here to celebrate the simplicity of the fruits, because it represents the answers to all of our questions. We're here because the verse says, Ki ha'adam eitz hasadeh, because a man is a tree in the field. It actually says, is a tree in a field guilty like a man? A man you could kill because he's in your way. You're at war. But a tree, what did the tree ever do to start off with you? So it could be, even in an age of turbulence, an age of uncertainty, where we say, who cares about the environment, who cares about the natural order of the world? We're busy killing each other, protecting each other, or ourselves. The Torah comes and tells us, even in the heat of the battle, look out for the trees. The trees are people too. The trees are better than people. Whoever thought that a tree is better than a person? It just depends on who the person is. So today, the Kabbalists of Tzfat, they taught us about how to get into the depth of experiencing life. Because most of us are only experiencing life in slow motion. Have you ever seen a video that's slowed down so that you really see things moving so slowly that it's like you can't even take it. You don't even know what the people are saying because they're speaking so slowly. And you don't even know what they're doing because they're moving so slowly. So that's how many of us are living life. Or, in the opposite is true. We're doing them in fast forward. You ever fast forward a movie and you see everybody moving around so quickly you couldn't understand it. First of all, there is no sound. But even if there was sound, like you could have a fast forward on an audio, you don't understand what anybody is saying. So that's how most of us are living life. Most of us are living either too slow or too fast. I remember one time I had a special tape recorder. I was learning Gemara, and I wanted to learn Girsa. Girsa is you go quickly instead of slowly, even slow. And I got these tapes, an hour per block Gemara. And there was a friend of mine who was a big mas, but he bought this tape recorder that if you set it could go twice the speed, and you could actually understand it. Because it had all these equalizers. But you had to play around with it every time, and then you got it right, and then you heard a block Gemara in a half hour instead of an hour. Now I hear there's a normal tape that does the blot in a half hour. You don't have to speed it up. The question is, how do you get things to the right speed in life? But let's talk about that. Speed, slowness, quickness. It's about the experience. When you're davening, I can't tell you. You know what I hate about a chazan that davens slow? The worst thing is, God forbid, for 30 seconds you're ahead of him waiting for the chazan to catch up to where you are. You ever had that experience? I'm waiting 30 seconds for a chazan. What a waste of half a minute. You know what I could have done that half a minute? That's probably why some people avoid the kalbach. They don't like that feeling.
No, that's not true.
So the question is like this. How do you get out of life exactly to be the way it should be? To get the picture, to get the audio, and actually not just the outer story, but the inner content to be just right. That's the question. And this is a question we call it, some people call it happiness, some people call it fulfillment. But it's really about experiencing life to the extent that you can possibly experience it. The other day I was studying, and I was a little bit distracted. And even though I was trying to study, I felt like, I wasted an hour because out of the 2 hours, I only studied 1 hour. And you feel a little bit bad. And I think a lot of us go through that in life, whether it's at work, whether it's with family or friends. We feel like we had an opportunity to get something, and we didn't fully acquire it. We only got half of it. So Tu B'Shvat is about how to grow all the way to your full potential. How to be that tree, how to be that fruit. How to eat. How to behave after you eat. How to taste that food. Have you ever tasted food that made you feel like you were alive? Mm-hmm. Have you ever been in a place that made you feel inspired? Have you ever heard ideas that lit your mind on fire? Have you ever sang a song that made you feel you were soaring